fans, brews, and Broncos news. What's up, Broncos country? We are here. It is draft night, NFL draft 2024. I got John here with me. We'll have Spotty with us later on. Maybe we'll have David on later on as well. Guys, we are going to be here from now all the way through the Broncos' first pick of this draft, whether that's at 12, whether they drop to 20 or 22, whatever the case is. John, are you ready for a long night, buddy?
I'm ready for a long night. It's so good to see you, Kev. It's been a while, my friend. So excited. Kevin, I was thinking about it today. I haven't been this excited for a draft in many years. So yeah. It's good to have a first-round pick for once.
Yeah, we have a first-round pick, so there's a reason to be excited there. Also, you look at what we have now. We have, Sean Payton running the show. This is his team now. He's been there for the full season. He knows what he has. He knows the skills he has, and be able to go forward and get a draft where he thinks that is going to most bolster the team, right? So he knows who he wants for quarterback. And the question that we're just sitting here waiting for is, how is he going to make that happen? Do we trade up? Do we stay at 12? Do we trade back, get a second round pick, and pick up Bo Nix in the second round if he's there, right? So we're going to break that down, guys. We're going to talk about it pick by pick, see what happens. We'll talk about what we think might, unfold and whatnot. But more importantly, everybody who's watching, if this is your first time tuning into Bourbon Broncos No BS at Orange Weekly, thank you for tuning in. Our main thing here, guys, is to interact with you. So the only way this is going to be fun for everyone is if you put stuff in the comments, ask your questions, put in your opinions or what you think is going to happen. Let's start it off right now by who do you think the Broncos are going to pick with their number one or their first round pick tonight. So put in the comments. I want to start here and see if we have any consensus for who the Broncos are going to get. So make sure you grab that bourbon, grab that beer, grab that drink, kick back, relax. And we're glad that you all are here. Joey, glad you're here. Who dat fan? So, okay, well, I have nothing against the Saints. We got Sean Payton, right? So thank you for being here. Even if you're not a Broncos fan, that's fine. We're going to be talking about all these teams as we go through the draft, all the way up, of course, through the Broncos pick. If a team picks after the Broncos, then I don't really care. But anybody else before that, we'll be talking about tonight. So, Joey, thank you for being here. Steph with our first guest of the evening, Caleb Williams. So, all right, look, here's the thing. And John, I want to hear your take. Shay, how you doing? Maricela, glad you're here. We don't have Jared, but at least we got Maricela popping in saying hi. So glad to have you here. Jared is off serving our country right now, and mile high salute to that guy. Thank you for all of you, everything he's doing. Definitely miss him. Can't wait to get him back on the show. But let's talk about this. Obviously, I would say if 99.9% chance that Caleb Williams will go to the Bears with the first pick overall. But if you remember back, what was that, 2016, 2017, the Bears traded up from the number 2 pick overall to the number 1 pick overall. And I can't remember who had the number 1 pick, but they didn't even want a quarterback. Right. But the Bears traded up to get Trubisky. Right. It was like that was the guy you traded up one spot to get, so who knows? The Bears, I don't know what they're doing. They very easily could come in here and say, yeah, let's trade this away, or let's not get Caleb Williams. Let's get someone else. I think, but I don't know. What are you thinking there, John? And we got Spotty here as well.
Oh, there he is. The main man. Looking good today, Mr. Spotty.
That took you some work, buddy.
Hello, friend.
When the other David's not here, I guess you can call me David John. That's acceptable.
Well, Greg, I don't know about your comment here. I don't know if you can say we've got it all. I think there's maybe some conspiracy where Sean Payton feels he has to have somebody named Wilson on his team. But I definitely wouldn't say we have it all. But going back to Caleb Williams, John, I mean, if you're Sean Payton, are you trying to trade up to number 1?
Am I trying to? I mean, look, here's the guy that he said, a year and a half ago that there's going to be a team that tanks the second half of the season to get this guy. And then here we are. We didn't do exactly a great job of tanking the second half of the season to be in a position to draft Caleb Williams. So
Right.
The consensus is the Bears going to take Caleb Williams. I mean, if someone else is on the Vegas odds for it not to be Caleb Williams and they take it, like they know something that the rest of the country doesn't know. So Broncos aren't getting him. Hate to spoil the fun for everybody to think that we're trading up 12 spots to get the best quarterbacks prospect since Trevor Lawrence a few years ago.
Yep.
So
yep,
not gonna happen.
I'm just
maybe how you do it for, but I don't think it's possible.
What you have to give up to get Caleb Williams, I think we're going to see possibly somebody move up to 5 or 4. And the amount of draft capital necessary to move up to that spot is going to show you that the Broncos were just never in contention for it.
No, we don't have the draft capital for it. And it doesn't make sense. We finally have a first-round pick after this is the year 3. The last 2 we didn't have one, so we finally have one. And we're going to give up the next 2 or 3 years as well for a guy that we really don't know how he's going to do in the NFL. It doesn't make sense to me. So no second round pick this year as it stands right now, but I don't know, guys. It'll be interesting to see.
I guarantee you whoever trades up is going to give away at least 1 or 2 years of a second round pick too. So the Broncos just don't have it.
Right. Yeah. Unless we're giving up 4 first round pick, unless we're throwing like Surtain in there too. Like it's we're giving up everything to get one guy. It's not going to make sense.
Still, yeah,
exactly. We got Kim, Jared's mom, up in here. Jared's mom, how you doing? Glad you're here. You got you and Maricela. It's, we miss Jared, but if we had to say Jared or both of you instead, I think we might lean to both of you. I don't know. That's just, don't tell him I said that. I don't but you guys definitely glad you're here, and send Jared our best when you guys talk to him next. Let's see. Middle of draft player trades. Definitely could see a lot of that movement. I think that's where especially you're talking about the Broncos being very popular when it comes to talking about trading back. So that's going to be huge for as we see things unfold. Sean, any truth to the rumors of Chargers trading Herbert to Minnesota for multiple picks to include the number 5? So Spotty, we had talked about this before the show. I'm also going to be driving, producing stuff in the background, putting up all the names and everything for you guys. Spotty, I think I'm going to kind of turn it over to you. Take the lead. See what you think, man.
I mean, I 100% believe that trade offer was given. Here's the difficulty, right? And you have to be pretty comfortable with whoever you're going to draft in this year's or next year's draft is going to be better than Herbert. And I'm just going by what I see in this draft. And, as you guys already know, I'm not very high on I'm not high on two of the 4 guys that everybody's saying is going to go in the first 5 or 6 picks. So if you had to tell me I had a choice of Herbert or Caleb Williams, I still might take Herbert.
Yeah. I mean, look, Herbert's a proven commodity. He's a top 5 quarterback in the league right now. I guarantee that was part of the equation of Harbaugh coming to the Chargers, right? Like he knew what he was getting with Herbert, right?
Yeah, but it's one of those things where it's like in every year in this league, right? When you bring in a new head coach, the head coach wants to bring in his guy,
Sure. Yeah.
So.
Yeah, you're right. It fits from McCarthy from Michigan. That totally makes sense what you're saying, but come on. I mean, I hope the Chargers do that because I don't think like you said, I don't think whoever they're going to draft there would be better than Herbert. So
right,
and they're in our division. So yeah, I'd love it if they got rid of Herbert. Send him to the Broncos.
Yeah, please.
Take him.
Yes, please. I want to see Herbert out of the division, and I want to see the Raiders trade up for possibly one of these other guys too. And then you know what? All of a sudden, we might actually have the second or third best quarterback.
I'll trade. I'll put my GM hat on and trade the number 12 pick for Herbert if they want to make that trade. I'd be happy to do that in a heartbeat.
With who's the new head coach out there?
John Harbaugh.
Yeah, Harbaugh. Thank you. I don't think Harbaugh is that dumb. I would say that in general, the Chargers organization, the Chargers like the Charger, and I wouldn't be surprised, but I think you maybe have a little bit of a safety net with Harbaugh to say, that's a stupid idea. We're not going to do that.
I just don't think that you could keep your job in the NFL by giving up. Even if Herbert's not considered a top 5 quarterback, you can't make an argument past 10. So you don't give up a top 10 guy in this league for someone who's going to probably come in the league to be bottom 20.
At least year 1.
Yeah.
And they got rid of their top 2 wide receivers. This is a very strong wide receiver class. You're talking about 2 of the best prospect, 2 of the top 5 prospects are wide receivers. So got to believe once the Chargers are on the clock, they're looking at, I would guess, a wide receiver.
I mean, I could see the Chargers not doing a wide receiver, John. I could see them going.
I'm not saying it's a given, but yeah.
I could see them doing offensive line because they were 31st, 32nd last year when it came to running the football. So, and we know when you get a Harbaugh in as a coach, they want to pound the rock. So,
well, they did beef up their running backs, right? They got Dobbins and
Gus Edwards.
I think they got a third guy too.
I mean, I could see them getting a Blake Corum sometime during this draft, but that's neither here nor there or today. So,
right. No, I'm not saying they're going to take a running back, but they're definitely trying to beef up their running game. So you could be on to something there with the offensive line.
Right. Also, can we talk about how much crap it is that the Bears are even given 9 minutes or 10 minutes? It's crap. The first pick should be it should be in. The commissioner should already have it in his hand.
Well, that's the thing. It's like the only thing they're doing is waiting to see if anybody calls with an outrageous trade off, or that they're like, well, we'd be too stupid to take, not take that. So
what's happened in the last half an hour that has changed things?
They've had 3 months. I'm pretty sure they were getting all the calls every day. I bet you Polis has half the GMs on speed dial right now.
Right. No, I agree. It's like, especially the top 5 teams for sure. 95% of the time, they've got to know who their number 1 is, and it's like, unless one of those other 4 teams or one of the teams above them get them, at that point, it's probably pretty solidified who's getting who. So why spend the whole 10 minutes other than just to draw out the dramatic side of this whole thing and give us more time for commercials.
Well, that's I mean, there's been so much talk about trades in the first round this year that even number 2 is Washington. If they're going to pull a trade, who the first pick is going to be, right? So why are we not that trade should have already happened. Now, I think at the 3rd pick, that's when it can start taking more time. But yeah, the first 2 picks honestly should be done by this point.
I would even say top 5, right? Because unless you already know, if I'm going to trade up, you're going to be doing the work to possibly trade up. And then anybody who's after 5, you're not really sure how those first 5 picks are going to go. So you may change things up, to possibly get higher or even draft or go back. So I don't know. That's just a feeling of mine. We remember the back in the day when the first and the second round were on the exact same day.
Yeah.
And
all the other rounds,
the first round 15 minutes too.
I don't know
if it was 10 and 5 or what, but
I don't know.
Yeah, it took forever.
I do remember there's a lot of Little Caesars pizzas and me and John on the couch all day drinking beer.
That's the way to do it, man.
Long nights, not memorable nights.
That's the way to do it, for sure. Dreamweaver, how you doing? Glad you're here. Bowers at 12. What do you think about Bowers? How's that looking into possibly an option for the Broncos?
I mean, this is how I think. This is what 1 or 2 things I think the Broncos' best options. Okay, the best number 1 option being trading back, possibly getting more draft capital, and then getting a quarterback later. I literally texted my buddy a couple of minutes ago. I think the second best option is getting best player available. Brock Bowers is probably George Kittle in comparison. My issue with that is I don't think that's something that's a luxury to have a potential top 5 tight end in the NFL. It's a luxury that anybody's going to get him the damn football.
Well, here's the deal. If you're staying at 12 and the quarterbacks aren't there that you believe should be taken at 12, right? And you go with the best player available. Bowers could be that guy. And this is not a real luxury, but with the way the Broncos are structured, we have a lot of holes. So you could just take, hey, whoever we have the highest rated on our board, best available. If it's Bowers, we take him because no one's letting us trade back, and we're kind of stuck here, and we're going to take what we can, and we're not going to reach on a guy like Bo Nix. Again, just depends how they view Bo compared to what we're hearing around, ESPN and everything.
With the way that things are possibly going to go in this draft, there's a good chance the Broncos are going to have a shot at the best defensive player in this draft.
Right.
Now, mind you, we don't know. I don't really, in comparison how it's going to chalk up to a player next year. I just say, like, if you get a Turner or Jared Verse or, the guy from UCLA, where I would butcher his name if I were to start trying to tell you right now, that's not a bad idea. Now, granted, I know David, when he was talking on Tuesday, he was saying that we could kind of continue to just have B, C+, B- edge rushers and continue to do it like that. And considering that we're not going to be truly Super Bowl bound next year, but pick is in.
Pick is in. Yes, sir.
Supposedly.
The odds on Caleb Williams was minus 20,000.
Yeah, I was debating.
I should have put $1 down on that bet.
20 cents.
Yeah, dude, I'm pretty sure they wouldn't even let you put $1 down, Kev, because they can't. That'd be 2,000 of a dollar.
Yeah,
20,000.
Oh, I see. No, no. I put money down on somebody else.
Oh,
yeah. Because it's like with Kentucky Derby. I'll put like $5 down on the lowest chance horse or whatever, because if they win somehow, if all the other horses go down and that's the only one standing up, you get a huge payday. So why not take the bet if it's that ridiculous? I don't know, guys.
No surprise there, guys.
Yeah. All right, take him off the board, Kev.
Yep,
He's not going to be a Bronco this year.
Right, Broncos Nation.
You guys are about 30 seconds ahead of me, so stand by. But
no,
yep,
it's fine.
As expected, everybody, Caleb Williams, number 1 pick with Washington Commanders on the clock now.
I find it very funny that the news that comes out the weeks prior to the draft that to make you feel like maybe teams are questioning a player. I'm curious to see how much that actually affects. Like, are these guys think they're playing chess when they're probably playing Chinese checkers? Like
jeez. Yeah.
They have their own scouting department. They have the GMs. I mean, they talk about it all the times whenever they have past GMs on ESPN. They're like, look, here's the board. You follow your board. I mean,
dude,
they have to talk about something, right? All the commentators, all the analysts, they got to talk about something on these networks.
Yeah, but it's just like they find little things. Like they were there's some dudes talking about the fact that he paints his nails sometimes.
Right. Yes. Correct.
Just each their own.
How terrible of a person.
I mean,
there's no way you can succeed in the NFL.
You know what? He paints his nails, but he sure as heck can throw a football further than I can.
Right.
Just saying.
What I want
to help out Russell Wilson last year. I don't know.
The power of the polish, man.
But here's my question to you guys: are the Bears going to Bears, or they have the talent around this guy? This should be a pretty decent team, and he should theoretically be the missing piece.
I think a lot's going to depend on 9, right? So we talk about the Bears bearing, right? But they did a lot during this free agency that we haven't really seen them do before. So this previous year, they picked up DJ Moore. They thankfully took Keenan Allen away from our division. I like Keenan Allen a whole lot more knowing that he's not in our division. John, he's on your fantasy team for like 3 years straight.
That's not true. But all right.
And then they picked up some defensive players, Montez Sweat, and then another. I think they signed Brian Burns or something like that away from Carolina. So this is the first year the Bears aren't doing Bears things. I think what they do on the 9th pick will change a lot. And I saw somebody's comment there saying that they think the Bears will finish last in the division still. I don't know. I disagree. It depends on what the Vikings do. The Vikings still are going to start Sam Darnold at quarterback right now.
Yeah. Yeah, and they're, everyone's saying they're going to be the team that trades up to get the third or fourth quarterback, right? So,
right.
We'll see.
We'll see for one. And yeah, I mean, that's a tough division in general. Bears could be the worst, or they could be the best. Now they have to get past the Lions to be the best, but
yikes,
they have the talent
That's
on the
the big
team, right?
Yeah.
I mean, talent doesn't always win football games, though.
Oh,
No.
100%. That's why I'm curious. I'm curious what actually happens on the field.
For sure. Now that'll be one to really watch how it develops. I think after what we saw the Texans do this last year, and I am convinced that they're an anomaly. You're not going to see, a team with a rookie quarterback and a first-time brand new head coach pair up that well together and make that much noise right away.
Sure.
But there's going to be a lot of that talk with Caleb Williams going to the Browns, all the moves that you guys are making. They also have the number 9 pick, like you said, if they stay there. So this could be a team that you see make a very drastic change through this offseason. However, with what Keith is talking to, I think you got to be cautious when it comes to the ego and the attitude. And yeah, I was guilty of sharing a fake Caleb Williams quote to you guys in the chat. I admit, I was just like, oh my God, I can't believe he said that. And then it turned out to be fake. But there have been stories, right? And you're just like, and it goes back to one of the first ones of does Caleb Williams, is he really demanding that he get part ownership in the team, right? And it's like, if that is true, like, is that the type of guy you really see as being the team player, the guy that's leading your team in the future? I don't know, right? So you just got to wonder, like, there's the talent side, and then there's the mental side of the game as well. That's just, you got to take into account, which is why when they're scouting, a huge part of the scouting process is talking to coaches and ex-teammates and other recruiters, whatever, in the area. And not just to see what they think on the talent, but you're looking at, what is their personality like? Are they someone that can be trustworthy? Are they a hard worker? Are they dedicated, right? What do they go out of their way to make sure that things are fixed if things aren't going right? And those are the kind of players that you want. And so I think we saw kind of a change in the draft strategy the Broncos made the last, at least I'd say the last Elway one, maybe the last two, where instead of just going for whoever what we thought was the top talent, we started to look for those leaders, right? They may not have been the best talent, but they had those leadership qualities we really wanted. And that seemed to have helped a little bit at the time. But I don't know, guys, is that, while we wait for the Commanders pick to come in the next 2.5 minutes or so, is Caleb Williams someone that you're concerned about if they were coming to the Broncos, which they're not? But
the talent's there. Like, the talent's there. I'm not going to be concerned. I will say that is why there's never a guarantee, though, that the guy you draft is going to be your franchise guy. He's going to be your Peyton Manning, because there is that aspect of it that you just don't know until he's in the locker room and on the field. So I mean, that's what makes it interesting, right? Caleb Williams could be a bust. We don't know.
But we know that, right? There's 32 picks in every draft in the first round. And out of those 32 picks, how many can you truly say on average end up being the player or having the career that you expect them to have, right? I mean, ask the Detroit Lions, it seems that they've changed their ways a little bit recently, as you saw that they just signed Penny Sewell and Amon St. Brown, right? But you remember how many wide receivers that they took in the first
in the top five,
until they hit Calvin Johnson. It was like 3 different guys, and Roy Williams. There's 2 Williams in there somewhere.
But you guys have the same name, I'm pretty sure.
But it was never successful, right? So we know that. And one thing I want to just kind of, before we continue with that, I want to go back to what Kevin, and I think was a really good point that you made, was about the Texans, right? I think the Texans were, again, in not only the perfect situation because they could have had Bryce Young first off, but they got CJ Stroud. They paired him with the new head coach, and then they were in a bad division.
Yeah. One of the worst, if not the worst, arguably the worst. David, you're gonna get
again,
Jaden Daniels.
You guys,
is it
Jaden Daniels? Okay.
All right. This next pick, I think, is the first pick where
it gets interesting.
Yeah, because the Patriots, in a very Patriots fashion, could foobar almost everything.
Yeah, Patriots not great at drafting.
Well,
right?
Belichick's not at the reins. But we don't know that. Belichick's did the draft
he's gone
for so long.
Yeah, it's a totally situation now. A totally different situation now. What do you think the chances are that
Drake May, though? I got money on it being Drake May.
Drake May. Yeah.
Very likely. Now, this is probably the earliest we would see a trade. I mean, there were a lot of trade rumors around the Patriots. So this could be where we see the first one, guys.
Yeah. I think it's either Drake May or trade.
Poor guy, though, going to the commies might be worse than
yeah, I wouldn't. I mean, congrats to making the NFL.
Right? Like he's an entertaining guy to watch.
He is an entertaining guy to watch, and they're going to sell more tickets. But they're a team that was recently sold, so they've not only do they've got new ownership, they got a new coach. Actually, matter of fact, I can't remember who's the coach for them now.
I can tell you.
I don't know because it's not
since
it was Ron Rivera, right?
No longer
Ron Rivera left. Yeah, since he left, I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's an offensive or defense coordinator from somewhere.
Yeah,
I don't exactly keep up with the Commanders.
Hey, you wanna?
But I would rather be on the Commanders than the Panthers, Spotty, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I would
talk about ownership, the team, and everything. In that division, I'd rather be on the Commanders than the Panthers.
Oh yeah, but that's not even that's not even an
At least Dan Snyder's not there anymore.
You said what?
At least Dan Snyder's not with the Commanders anymore.
I mean, that's true, but they still got the worst rankings in the NFL last year when it came to players and food and travel, and it's not like the stadium's changed either. So they're really
you can't make all the changes in one day, right? Rome wasn't built in a day, they say. So it takes
some
time.
say that.
Some say that.
I think you know. Mind over matter. I think if you dedicate yourself, you could, but that's just me. I don't know.
Right. The
so we got
Texans
New England Patriots.
Year, but...
Yeah, and that again, you're not going to see that again for. I don't know the next time you're going to see that again. To be honest with you,
I mean, the Texans were in a better position draft wise than the Bears this year, but to have two top 10 picks, one being the first overall, the Bears have a chance to do something special with that.
Yeah, but remember, the best team in their division prior to DJ Stroud going there was the Colts, and they had to draft a new quarterback last year. I guess it was Tennessee.
Tennessee won the division the year before.
No, I'm sorry, it's Jacksonville.
Well, Jacksonville was supposed to be. Like that division can't get together.
I'm telling you, dude. Look at it, because now you look at that division. CJ Stroud already is probably number 1 or number 2 quarterback in the division. You got Anthony Richardson, who was hurt last year. You got Tennessee Titans possibly starting a rookie or second-year quarterback in Will Levis, who puts mayo in his coffee.
Oh God! Didn't think you could beat out Mahomes and ketchup on his steak. Like that is.
Did his girlfriend leave him after the first round?
I think so.
Yeah.
Because the second round, when they showed him, she wasn't around.
She wasn't there anymore. Yeah, she's like, and I'm out.
Maybe she's got
my feet hurt.
You guys think about that?
Yeah.
Awesome.
I mean, depending on how you feel about Trevor Lawrence, you could definitely make the argument that Stroud's the best quarterback in that division.
I mean, I'm gonna go ahead and make the argument that the Texans are still the best team in the division. Now the Jacksons could turn it around all of a sudden, but whatever. But talking about the Patriots, I mean, it looks like they're going to actually draft in there. Can I get that?
Yeah.
They look like they're actually going to draft this pick, but it wouldn't also be a terrible idea for them to move back, pick up draft capital, because it's not even close. They're not even near being the top of their division.
No. Unless Stephon Diggs was the heart and soul of the Bills, which I don't think he was.
Even with that, it's
not
Bills. What? That's Bills, Jets, and the Dolphins.
Yeah,
it's probably Bills, Dolphins, Jets, and then New England is basically 5.
Yeah, I'd be surprised if the Patriots weren't picking in the top 10, top 5 potentially next year.
For sure. Well, the pick is in. So we will see what the New England Patriots have selected here with the number 3 overall pick.
In that draft room.
Yeah, they seem pretty chill.
They still don't know how to react now that Belichick's gone. They don't know if they're
like, are we allowed to have fun?
Can we have fun yet?
Robert Kraft is in there. He's like, who wants to go to the massage parlor?
Yeah. It's set up in the next room.
First round's on me, boys. Yeah, I'd pass.
You know what, though? Jeez. It's still nice seeing that the Patriots are bad at football. Like, I know that they beat us in that stupid game last year, but I don't even care because they're still bad at football.
Yeah. I would not expect, like your guys are saying, for them to make any massive improvements this offseason. It'll be interesting here. We'll see who they're picking, which you guys, again, will know before.
Yeah, we're ahead of you. It's exactly who you think it is.
Nice bet there, Spotty. I'm proud of you and your winning ways.
Well, I'm hoping that the Cardinals trade out of the 4th spot so I can clean up on the first 4.
You have McCarthy? You have McCarthy 4 or what?
I got McCarthy 4. It was plus 550. Why not? You know.
I mean, but Cardinals aren't taking them. So you're saying this is the first trade of the draft, right?
I'm just saying that the Cardinals will have to trade that pick for it to happen.
Right.
So if there's not a Bronco trade here, does that solidify us staying at 12 at the very least?
Well, no.
The Giants are in a weird spot too. Because what do the Giants need? They still got to pay what's that guy's name? Daniel Jones.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say if the Broncos were going to move it, actually, you know what? Let's be honest. It's 100% what Arizona does. Because if Arizona takes Marvin Harrison Jr.
right,
or Malik Neighbors, okay, because they need some help, then that means that I would look for both the Raiders and the Vikings to possibly move up. And if that does, the Broncos are actually in a good spot.
It'd be interesting if Arizona takes this pick. It'd be interesting to see how far does McCarthy go before someone trades up to get him. And like I said earlier to you guys, I think it's more likely McCarthy is still around at 12, than us taking Bo Nix at 12. I don't think either of those things are going to happen, but I think it's going to take a trade probably for McCarthy to get drafted before 12, right?
If he goes at 12, if he's there at 12, do you take him at 12, John?
I don't personally. I don't think. No.
If you don't do that, do you do that with the understanding that he's not going to be there in the second round?
Oh,
yeah.
I'm talking about McCarthy being available at 12.
Yeah. Well, okay. So, but would you rather have McCarthy at 12, or would you rather make a trade at 12 to get a second round pick, get something at 2022-ish, and then draft Bo Nix either first or second round?
Yeah, that's what I would rather do yes.
Don't. This is me just from watching football this year. I don't really think there's that much of a difference between JJ and Bo Nix.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I want someone to trade up and get him because that means they're leveraging their whole future on a guy that I don't think is worth the number 4 overall pick. And same with Drake May. I think it's going to be another Mac Jones situation for the Patriots, but it cracks me up.
Steve here. So
what's that?
Steve's question here, do we have no picks to move up? We really don't have the draft capital. No second round pick this year.
Not this year.
And this is the first time we've had a first round pick in a couple of years. So we would have to give up another 2, maybe even 3, 2 years of first round picks to move up. It doesn't make sense, really, depending, especially after we get past pick 5, I would say you're going to see us at 12 or even later.
I couldn't see from the value needed to move up in the top 5 with just going by what it has been in the last couple of years. I think there's no less than three total first round picks. So this year plus the next 2 and potentially second round picks involved. We just don't have that. Like a lot of the times people are looking for a second round this year.
Right.
And we just don't have it.
We're competing supposedly against a team like the Vikings who have 2 first round picks this year that they can trade. So it's like we can't outpace them if we're giving up draft capital.
Right.
Now that could all be BS and they're not actually trying to move up, but that's what we're going up against, it seems like.
Right.
Well, Arizona is not trading their pick, ladies and gents. The pick is in. The Broncos are not going to be trading with the Cardinals, so we'll see who the Cardinals pick. As you guys are alluding to, this is really going to, I think, define what the Broncos do and who's available to them once we get down to 12. So interesting times, guys.
Who do you think this is? Do you think it's Harrison Jr.?
Or McCarthy?
If I was a GM, if I had to choose between Harrison Jr. and Malik Neighbors, I'm going with Harrison Jr. Now, don't get me wrong. Malik Neighbors is really, really good at football. But Marvin Harrison Jr. did it 2 years in a row. He almost had the exact stats. And granted, he had C.J. Stroud last year as a quarterback. But this year, the guy even transferred away from the school. Like, that tells you how good the quarterback was for Ohio State. The guy transferred away from Ohio State.
I feel like you're a little bit biased because Marvin Harrison just happens to be one of your favorite wide receivers of all time. So I don't know.
Hey, man. Maybe, but he's bigger than his dad is. Have you seen him stand next to his dad?
No, I have not.
He is nuts, dude. No surprise.
Is it?
Yeah.
There was a lot of talk that Neighbors was going to overtake him as the top wide receiver. I mean, it just goes to show how deep. I mean, these are top 2 wide receivers here. So
I don't know. I bet you Neighbors go 6 to the Giants, but both of them are in a bad spot. I'm just saying, dude. Like, who would you rather have have the ball thrown to you? Would you prefer Kyler Murray or would you prefer Daniel Jones?
Well, is Kyler Murray in this hypothetical situation? Is Kyler Murray going to be on the field? Is he going to be healthy?
I mean, yeah. If both quarterbacks are healthy.
Bad situation. You are correct.
You're correct.
The Cardinals, I guess.
They got Trey McBride, who is a Rammy.
Go Rams, baby.
Well, we got the first divisional foe up in the draft here. The LA Chargers are on the clock right now as we wait for Marvin Harrison Jr. to come out and get his jersey and everything. So what does this mean for the Broncos, guys?
Well, the Chargers are in a similar situation. They have a lot of holes to fill. So, I think they do probably what we were talking about earlier on is take the best guy on their board, which could be wide receiver, could be offensive line, could be damn near everything. Probably not quarterback.
I stress again that this might be one of the best wide receiver classes that we've seen outside of like Justin Jefferson year. So if I'm the Bolts,
whoa, that was the Jerry Jeudy year, you mean?
And then we're gonna say it's the Henry Ruggs year.
Yeah, let's not do that.
Okay. You mean the first wide receiver taken in the draft of that amazing draft?
Yeah, I know. Yikes.
Yikes.
Hey, he had real potential.
Something. Yeah, I don't know.
He has real potential to be on the next longest yard. Okay, so, but I just think when you have a team like the Chargers and what they in their situation, you have to take best player available. And with a deep wide receiver class, I guess an offensive lineman's going to go right now.
That's where you're going with? All right.
Yeah.
I'll say wide receiver. I'll say
which one? Which one? Malik or Jerome?
I mean, it seems like Malik is the one that everyone is comparing to Marvin Harrison Jr., so I imagine he's the next to go, right?
2 different players, man, though. It's like, what do you truly need? Because
at wide receiver for the Chargers?
Quentin Johnson.
Anybody.
Quentin Johnson.
You got a first-round wide receiver last year. He's 6'5".
Well, he doesn't seem to be very good at football so far in the NFL.
Yeah. Not so far, anyway.
Gloves, right?
I mean, it's not, you can't blame it on the quarterback there.
No, you can't. So, if he's not panning out, yeah, I mean, obviously rookie year, right? But
yeah, I mean,
it's like when you're first round wide receiver pick like that, like you expect them to go out there and make some sort of positive contribution. We didn't see that at all. So,
and did he have a worse or better rookie year than Jerry Jeudy?
Probably better. I mean,
I really don't want to have this conversation.
Well, what quarterback did Jerry Jeudy have? Right? Like compared to
honestly, we've had so many quarterbacks at this point. I can't even remember who was quarterback.
I'm telling you, that's why I asked the question the way I did, because I don't know either. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know, guys. Well, hey guys, really quickly while we wait for this pick to come in, about 4 minutes left on the clock for the Chargers. Would remind you guys, if you haven't checked us out before, again, really appreciate you tuning in tonight. We don't do too many things during the off season. There's just not much going on. So we'd be really repetitive if we were doing weekly shows during the off season. But believe it or not, training camp is right around the corner. And that's when we ramp up our shows and our podcasts as we get ready for the preseason there. So as we get close to the July timeframe and, dates for training camp starts coming out, I'll be out there 1 or 2 of the days for training camp, do some live shows out there and, meet some of y'all and whatnot, but make sure you tune in during our shows during the season, as well as checking out our podcasts and everything else like that. So we're going to do this. This is going to be our 9th year doing this. So we are going to do this, obviously, no matter what the Broncos do, because we've shown that we're going to keep doing this no matter what the Broncos do.
It's called an addiction, Kev. It's called an addiction.
It's an addiction. Right. So, hey, there are worse things to be addicted to. Just saying.
I don't know. The way the last 2 seasons have gone, I don't know.
I mean,
I'm telling you, we're getting to that point where you talk about any team, and it's like, it's painful. My heart hurts sometimes, David. Spotty.
Hey, it's a fine. I'm being held over by the Avalanche and the Nuggets. So,
right. Yeah. Wait, not the Rockies?
Who?
The who? Hey, how about them Avalanche? Well, we'll talk about the Nuggets too, but Avalanche on the road really showing out after losing 7-6 in game 1. Big tip of the hat to Georgie, the goalie for the Avs there. Coming out looking real strong. And if that's the kind of goalie play that we can have from him throughout the playoffs, this is a team that could make it pretty far. But now they're coming back home, get an extra day off today. So they'll be playing tomorrow night at home, best home team in the league. Very likely chance this series could be 3-1 going back to Winnipeg. So very interesting series there. And then you got the Lakers and LeBron James, who just cannot beat the Nuggets no matter what they do. How much were they up in game 2 by like 20 points or something like that?
Points.
Yeah. And they came back. Oh man. Like you cannot beat what the Nuggets and the Avs are doing right now.
What a finish. That was wild.
Oh, dude. Woke up my neighbor, the future wifey was like, what happened? She's like, I thought I like pushed over the couch or something.
I mean, you did, but there was a reason behind it.
Yeah.
It's just a couch.
Right? Could have been worse. You didn't punch a wall or something.
In it, okay?
Yeah, Nugs play tonight, right? In LA. So I got to feel after that, blowing that lead for the Lakers, they're going to be so dejected.
I don't know how you come back from that.
I don't know, man. It's either that or they're going to come out with so much fire that,
I mean, if there was a game that they could steal, that last one was it. And
that's true.
That's true.
Chargers.
I could be wrong, but I think the Nuggets might win by 10 tonight.
I would love that.
It might be another sweep. I mean, they haven't lost to the Lakers in 10 games now.
Yeah, but it's still LeBron James.
Oh yeah, I mean,
you never know, but you do not want to go down 3-0 against the Nuggets. So this is an elimination game for the Lakers. Yeah. You're not going to win 3 in a row against the Nuggets, especially with, home games in there. So
I believe after that last game, that's the series is over, whether it goes 4 games or 5, like 6 at most.
Yeah. Okay. So
Chargers.
Chargers, we're looking wide receiver again. So what you guys are thinking?
I'm thinking J.C. Latham.
Talk about the Lakers.
Offensive tackle, Alabama. Or Joe Alt, Notre Dame.
Okay.
I was thinking.
Well, look, the Chargers, with Harbaugh in the lead now, they're running the show. Man, it's going to be interesting to see what he's able to do with his, return to the NFL there. So now it's like, how much tougher can the AFC West get? Right. And it's like, then something like Harbaugh going to the Chargers happen. And you're like, oh my God, give us a break. But I don't know, man. It's going to be interesting to see what these guys do and how they turn things around out there. So waiting for the commissioner.
Wait, what?
There's a big
Spotty.
boy.
Spotty, you've
What?
called every single one correct so far. You didn't get McCarthy right.
This one I think should be easy. This should be Malik Neighbors, right? For the Giants.
The Giants.
Yeah.
Who is there?
So why
I'm
Joe
drawing a
Alt?
blank on their number one wide receiver right now. Giants.
They didn't have a number one wide receiver last year.
Who is? Do they not have a wide receiver?
It's either Darius Slayton or they got this kid, Jalen Hyatt, out of Tennessee last year, or was a rookie, but he didn't even play that much. Darren Waller at tight end. You can make the argument that he was their number one wide receiver. Yeah.
You're right. All right, this is an easy. You're right. This is an easy one.
Yeah. Like they haven't had a number one wide receiver maybe in a couple of years.
Yeah.
And now they don't have Saquon Barkley either.
Yep. Yeah.
But Kev, Dan, what did you say? Why Joe Alt?
Yeah. So, what do you think about this pick for the Chargers there?
I mean, this is like when you put your fan hat on, it's not, you're like, ugh, it's an offensive lineman, but for John Harbaugh? Why do I always mess up which Harbaugh it is?
Yeah, it's one or the other. John.
Okay.
They all look the same.
Let's just say
they all look the same.
Do you see the size of this man?
John is the Ravens, right? Yeah.
Jim. Whatever.
Jim is the Ravens.
No.
But anyways, the guy is huge. If you look, once you get these pictures of Joe Alt hugging his family, he's a monster. And you know what the Chargers want to do now is run the football. That's the start of every offense for Harbaugh since the time that he was the head coach for the 49ers. Of course, he was also he was with the Rams for a little bit. CSU, just got to throw that in there again real quick. But he's just about running. He's just pounding the football. So that's why you get him.
That makes sense. It makes sense why they got rid of their top two wide receivers as well, because apparently they're not going to throw the ball this year with one of the best quarterbacks.
Uh-oh. The Giants are in.
Already?
Is that
pick us in, guys?
To you?
That means trade.
No, because usually they put the team up there, I feel like.
They'll say there's a trade.
Yeah, but
they'll usually put the next team in there. They usually don't say the pick is in and keep the original team, I feel like.
The clock is still at 9 minutes. Once they figure out what team it is.
No, you can see it in the background ticking down.
Maybe the Giants are the first team that knew exactly what they wanted to do. They're like, oh, okay, cool. Malik Neighbors.
I mean, yeah, that's the thing. Like, if it went the way they thought it would, and this is their guy, why waste the time? Like we've talked about. But the closer we get to this Broncos pick, I mean, now with the fourth best quarterback available, that now gets interesting to see when he goes, if he does go.
Yeah. Are we going to have a choice at 12? Bo Nix or JJ McCarthy? I think that is Sean Payton's dream. I don't know how, but
I mean, I'm still hoping for a trade down personally, but either way, if they're both available, I want to trade down. But
yeah,
it makes it an interesting question because people had McCarthy gone at this point.
Yep. Most people did.
Again, but we know every year there's always a classic draft slider,
Right.
Yep.
Maybe that's Bo Nix. He slides into the second round, and you keep trading back.
And you never know. Giants, maybe they take McCarthy here. Maybe that was their guy all along. And now they're trading Daniel Jones, who they just.
I mean, they did just say that Daniel Jones doesn't have any guaranteed money left after 2024.
Really?
So that usually signifies.
Interesting.
Yep, we're seeing pick is in, guys. Commissioner coming on down. Lots of options for the Giants here, guys. One of the greatest NFL traditions is the booing of the commissioner.
We should just make our DraftKings bets live, like as the teams come up. We're nailing this. Now, I thought Joe Alt was going to be available for the Titans.
Yeah.
So I'm curious.
Well, probably running back. I would think.
The guy you were talking about for the whoever just picked. I can't remember who just picked. Who just took Joe Alt?
Oh, you
Chargers.
Chargers.
Oh, right. I don't pay attention to the Chargers. But who's the other tackle available?
J.C. Latham will be the next offensive lineman draft. It should be. It'll either be him or, and I'm gonna butcher this, so I'm just gonna call his short name, Olu, who's the Penn State a tackle. But there's also been talks. He played high school football with Caleb Williams, so it's possible that he might go 9.
I mean, how much connection do you think is there between guys that played in the past together?
I mean, Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase play together.
Yeah. I think there's lots of examples.
I mean, but you're talking about a wide receiver and a quarterback. That's one thing. And they weren't taking the same draft. Not that matters at all. But
it was C.J. Stroud who told the Texans to go after Tank Dell.
Mm-hmm. And look how that worked out.
What was he, a 6th-round pick?
Huh?
Was he a 6th-round pick? 5th?
Tank, I think, 2nd or 3rd.
Oh, was he? I thought he was later. Never mind.
I mean, I could be wrong. But I know that he's a lot higher than you expect.
Really? Okay. Yeah, that's just a whole interesting wide receiver room with the Texans with Stephon Diggs there now. Like, did they really need Stephon Diggs? They had like 4 guys that could go over 100 yards in any game. And I'm pretty sure it did go over 100 yards in multiple games.
I don't know, man.
What do you do to stop the do you load the box up? Well, they got Joe Mixon. Do you go to dime packages? They got Stephon Diggs, Tank Dell. Oh my gosh, why am I missing the other guy's name? The guy who's actually their number 1 wide receiver.
I always forget it too because there's so many of them that
they're
all
they're stacked.
They all exploded last year. I know who you're talking about, but I can't.
Nico Collins.
Yep. And it was him getting hurt that took these other guys to
new heights.
Their name out there.
Yeah, because then they got Noah Brown too.
That's the other one.
He used to be with the Cowboys. I mean, we need to stop talking about the Texans. I think that's a dream for us. Our division now, we're closer to being like, even if let's say the quarterback that we choose is above average, we're still in more like what the Bears situation than what the Texans are. Because we're in a division where the top team is pretty established.
Yeah, I would say the back-to-back Super Bowl champions pretty established. Hey, but we beat them this year. Remember that?
Yeah, that was nice. That was nice. We just beat the Raiders now.
It'll happen. We'll beat them this year. It'll happen. You gotta
they better. I gotta have faith. Gotta have faith. Hey guys, while we're waiting, I do want to take a moment on a little bit more of a serious note, guys. There is someone in Broncos country. I'll just pull up here. Travers, unfortunately, had a relapse of leukemia. His family's really struggling right now. They are Broncos fans through and through. And so I wanted to throw this up here. I'm going to put the link in the chat for everybody. we don't ask for donations, towards us here at Orange Weekly. We don't ask you guys to pay us or anything like that. We do this for fun. But if there's any way you guys could donate $5, $10, $20 to this family, it would mean an immense amount to them as they try to struggle through the relapse of their son Trevor and his leukemia. And just a good way for Broncos country and NFL fans, because I know we have non-Broncos fans watching, to come together and just send a little bit of money their way and help them out. I know times are tough for a lot of people right now, but if there's anything you guys can do, please click that link that I put up in the chat just now, or go to GoFundMe and look for this one here. I'll put this up later again as well, but really good people. And just anything we can do for them would mean a lot, like I said. So, okay, back to the draft, guys. We got Tennessee Titans on the clock, waiting for information there, about halfway to pick 12 for the Broncos. And JJ McCarthy, probably the big news right now, still on the board.
Right, yeah. If you're a Titans fan, why not take McCarthy? Like, are you really going to roll with Will Levis? Like, Will Levis is your guy?
Well, maybe.
I don't see a difference.
Or do you look to get the top running back in the draft right now?
Top
make
running
up
back?
for losing.
I'm not taking a running back this early. I don't think.
I don't think
just saying.
Back in the first round.
Yeah, they're saying no running back or safety in the first round likely this year.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, it's possible we won't see a linebacker either.
Yeah, that's another one. Yeah. I mean, the Titans need, again, a lot of shocking that the teams that are picking in the top 10 need a lot of help. But
well, the Titans signed
what?
Pollard, and they have Tajay Spears, who
they're not taking a running back.
Well, I mean, I'm just throwing it out there, and I mean, even though we could say Will Levis, he ended up playing pretty good near the end of the stretch there. So, do you take another unknown quantity to replace another unknown quantity?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think they're going to go quarterback here. I'm definitely not sold on Levis, but you're right. You're talking about the fourth quarterback in this draft already at pick 7. So,
right,
maybe you do roll with Levis. And who is Willis? Malik Willis was the guy they drafted the year before. So how many guys that they drafted in the top 3 rounds is on that in the quarterback room there?
Dude. I mean, John, my buddy Matt, from our fantasy league, he thinks teams should draft a quarterback every year until they figure one out.
Well, I'm not saying that's a bad strategy. It's when you take a quarterback with in the first 3 rounds every year. That's a different story. Like, if you want to take a flyer in the 6th round, 7th round every year, for sure. Like, why not? Like, that's the most important position in arguably sports.
What other names are you guys watching for? Maybe thinking they may slip down that not necessarily impact the Broncos anyway, but is there anyone else that you're watching across the board saying this could be an interesting thing to watch for?
Well, we already talked about, but Brock Bowers is a guy that I think I've seen in every single mock going in the top 10. That'll be interesting to see where he ends up going. If he is available at 12, that's enticing. I don't exactly love our recent history of taking a tight end in the first round. So
I can see the Jets taking him.
Really?
What makes you say that?
I mean, they got Garrett Wilson at wide receiver. Their second best wide receiver is their tight end is.
I can tell. I mean, I don't.
So I could see them going with a high-powered guy. Actually, it's not Valdez-Scantling because I can't remember the second guy for the Jets was one of those guys that Aaron Rodgers brought in. So
Lazard. Lazard wasn't.
Yeah, Lazard.
I think he's like 3 or 4. Honestly, I think I have a couple of other.
I'm just saying.
It's the Jets. Okay.
What's up, John?
It's the Jets. I don't care.
That's true. I'm just saying. I know. John.
Spotty, you're crushing it, man.
I know. But this is the 8th spot is where it gets hairy. I don't know what Atlanta does. My guess is Atlanta goes defense, and they end up taking Alabama's Turner.
Dallas Turner, yeah. And they've been talking about this being not a heavy, at least in the first round, defensive draft. And we've seen it already. There hasn't been a single defensive player taken. This could be the first one. You're talking about like 2/3 of the picks potentially being on offense in this first round.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if we're looking at 20 to 25 offensive players taken.
Which 25. 25.
Yeah, when you think about all the wide receivers that are out here, and then it's actually a deep draft for tackles too.
No, yeah. There's a lot of positions that are deep. It seems like we say that every year too. But to put that in perspective, the record is 19 for offensive players. Yeah, it's taken in the first round. So you're talking about
6, or we're at 7.
I couldn't see it getting over 19 though.
Call that a bold prediction. I could see it over.
I think it's gonna be around 2021.
I mean, okay.
But yeah, I mean that's
fair.
I mean, but you're right. Like that means the Broncos again, if they don't go quarterback, they're gonna have the option at one of the best defensive players.
Yeah.
Regardless, it seems like, anyways.
Well, up next on the
quarterback, right? I think.
Yeah. Could be. But with Atlanta on the clock now, we're going to wait to see what they do with the 8th overall pick, guys. Again, appreciate everyone tuning in so far. We're going to stick here through the Broncos pick, wherever that be. But interesting times right now. We see J.J. McCarthy still on the board. Bo Nix is the rumor for the Broncos, and no trades happened yet. So, I mean, for the most part, I'd say things have gone pretty much according to plan. I'm not shocked by anything so far. You guys?
No.
Apparently not. He's called every freaking pick.
Well, except for one.
The only thing he's gotten wrong is there wasn't a trade up at 4 to get McCarthy.
Yeah, exactly.
Which was plus 1,000 odds.
Yeah. Oh well, it would
get the top 4.
Well,
right?
But the top 4 with Marvin Harrison was like minus 120, so it wasn't even appetizing to put money on it.
Right.
No.
So
not at that point. Yeah,
I mean, so I took the switch up, just take the trade and let it be JJ or something. So
sure.
So I hate to play this game, guys, but looking at the Broncos depth chart, if we're not taking quarterback, what position is the biggest need for the Broncos for you guys?
Ooh.
Cornerback
the biggest need
of PS2.
Yeah.
Well, what's that cornerback?
That got exploited last year, big time.
Yeah. What cornerback from the Steelers did we just sign?
Wallace,
that's right. Didn't seem like anything big nor
Levi
the
Wallace,
depth signing. So interesting. I mean, yeah, if you trade back for the Broncos, you get a second round pick. Do you go cornerback first round, Bo Nix second round?
There was a lot of mocks that had Tyrion Arnold from Alabama, or a couple most recently had us taking Quinyon Mitchell, the kid from Toledo, which I'm not that. I'd rather take Tyrion Arnold. He's played with PS2, and he comes from Alabama opposed to Toledo.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Give me a Nick Saban coached cornerback like all day.
100%.
Not going to be. You can't say that really anymore after this year. I mean, you can a little bit if they've partially been coached by Nick Saban.
Well, yeah,
but
right.
That's
just
kind of it after this.
College football way more interesting.
Yeah. Maybe I'll get a little bit more into it next year, so I can speak a little bit more intelligently on the draft.
I mean, it seems like Saban got out while NIL was heating up. I mean, it would have been fun to see the downfall now that NIL is out there and it's harder to compete.
Yeah.
But you're Alabama, so you should be able to do just freaking fine with the NIL.
Right.
Yeah. Well, it looks like Harbaugh and Saban got out. So it seems the old guard is not down with the way that college football is currently.
I think I'm gonna put a conspiracy theory hat on here and say that Harbaugh got out. He pulled the old Pete Carroll move, got out before there was any, and if he got suspended anymore. what other bullshit they pulled in Michigan?
I was like, I'm out. Yeah,
it's the old Urban Meyer way to do things. You leave the school before you get suspended or lose bowl games or recruits.
Yeah, except
switch this up a little bit there. Oh man, it's really at this point. I'm sitting here wondering at any point.
Whoa!
What?
Something just happened. McCarthy?
No.
Michael Penix Jr. But for Atlanta.
Wow.
So above McCarthy, I said that Bo Nix was going to get drafted before Penix Jr. on DraftKings. Wow.
That's huge.
Dude, the Vikings.
I wonder why that is.
The Vikings might not have to move up to get the guy that they wanted.
Or, once again, a lot of chatter for nothing with McCarthy. Like maybe teams aren't as high on him.
We said that, right? Like you got to discern what's smoke and what's actual fire, right?
Well, it seems like we get a lot more smoke than fire this time of year. So we'll see. I mean,
that's all we have.
I mean, we're still at pick 9, so I'm not saying McCarthy's falling because if the Vikings trade up to 9 and take him, is that crazy they didn't get taken at 4 or 5? But this is,
I mean, they got Kirk Cousins. They just signed Kirk Cousins. Was that 3-4 year deal that he just signed with them?
Mm-hmm. Well, just somebody to sit on the bench for another year or so, see how that works out, and then throw Michael Penix in if needed. I guess I don't know. Like that. If you just signed somebody to a long contract, why would you do that?
Yeah, he is.
I saw that, Spotty.
Uh-huh.
With the Bears on the clock now, guys. I mean,
the Bears might trade back. What if they? I don't see anybody trading up.
Here's what you do if you're the Bears: you take JJ McCarthy and figure you got one starting quarterback between him and Caleb Williams.
You got someone.
One of those has got to hit. I mean, you're talking about first-round quarterbacks. It's like a 10% hit rate of them actually being, to the level that they were drafted at. I feel like 90% of those guys are busts.
8 is wild. 8 is wild. I did not. I mean, there was talk that Penix Jr. was going to go second round.
Yeah. I mean, there's arguments between him and Bo Nix as to who was the 5th best quarterback.
Well, I mean, he's technically still in that position. Minnesota could still take JJ. I don't expect obviously Chicago's not going to, unless they are the worst franchise in history if they're going to take another quarterback at 9. But I don't see obviously Chicago doing it. The Jets could still take a quarterback. We forget that Aaron Rodgers isn't getting younger.
And they don't have Zach Wilson to fall back on.
Right. Also, John, that ended my streak of perfect calls. Okay.
Yeah, I think that ended anyone's streak of perfect calls.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah, think of Kirk Cousins has made so much money in the NFL, and I feel like he's just always that other guy. Until he was with the Vikings, like finally with the Vikings, he seemed like he had settled in, and now once again, you take
he's got to be pissed right now. If you're Kirk Cousins, how are you taking this? You don't think so?
Spotty, how much money you put it up there? How much money has Kirk Cousins in the NFL?
300-something million.
Yeah, I think he's doing
what?
Just fine. I don't think he's that bad.
More money than Tom Brady made in his career.
Right.
I didn't know that. Good Lord.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
And because on top of it, a lot of it's been guaranteed money. That's the thing that you don't really think about.
Yeah, that's what I don't get here. Are they going to sit this guy for 3 years, 2 years?
Yes.
At the 8th pick?
Boom. There. Roma doozy.
Okay.
Nice call. Nice call.
Here's my one comment about the Michael Penix Jr. There's not a single part of me that believes that Kirk Cousins was not aware that they were going to make that move.
That's fair. They would have given a heads up. Yeah.
You don't pay a guy the kind of money that they're paying Kirk without him knowing.
It's just weird because couldn't they have traded back? Like,
I'm not gonna lie. I think that's a luxury pick. Again, it's not even the best player available. I'm telling you, I'm not saying that Michael Penix Jr. may not end up being the best quarterback in his draft. Why?
You're like 10 seconds ahead of me and like 30 seconds ahead of Kevin.
All right. Well, you're going to find out.
Wait, why? What I just miss?
The Vikings just
picked Rome
for the Jets pick.
So there goes McCarthy.
Yeah.
To move up one spot. I mean, it's
no. They've got the 11th spot.
Right. So they moved up. No, they got it. Given up the 11th.
They had to have switched.
I'm looking.
There's no way they moved up a spot without giving up their first round for this
They
year.
have another first round pick. It's the 23rd pick.
Oh.
I mean, I guess.
Well, I meant for right
possible,
now.
but...
I don't think you can give up the 23rd for.
Wait, Spotty, what channel are you on? Maybe I'm on a different channel. Maybe that's why you're getting different.
I don't know, bro. I'm also. This is hilarious because normally I'm behind because I have DirecTV Stream.
I mean, I'm on.
Well, this pick is going to be.
This has. They have both picks.
Ryan, this pick right now is going to be what determines, I think, for sure if the Broncos trade
what
back.
the Broncos going to do.
Yeah. If McCarthy is taken off the board, Broncos are going to trade back. If they can get a second round pick out of somebody.
Okay, so they did swap those picks. So the Jets do have 11 now.
It always takes them because they have to figure out what the trade actually was before they actually can switch all the.
JJ McCarthy goes here.
You got to assume that they did this trade because they felt someone else was trying to get up to 10 to beat them out.
Or if it was the Broncos, if the Broncos are trying to beat them out, something.
Somebody told me look out. We got to think about what quarterback needy teams are in the second half. The Rams, maybe.
Yeah. What about the Raiders? Could the Raiders use
the Raiders at 13?
Well, here's the thing. If you're trying to move from 12 to 10, I think we do have the ammunition to you trade a third round pick to move from 12 to 10 if you're the Broncos. I'm not saying that we were one of those teams that were trying to do that, but I think you could to move up 2 spots.
I could see the Jets double dipping and a team like the Raiders or the Rams jumping in front of the Broncos at 11.
Oh, if the Raiders jumped in front of us, I would punch a freaking wall. I would seriously. No, it's not allowed.
I'm throwing that out there,
No.
Who are the Raiders going to take that you're upset about, Kevin?
It's the Raiders. How are you not upset by it?
Because they're going to do Raider things. When was the last time the Raiders made an amazing first round pick?
When did we lose this hatred of the Raiders?
I hate the Raiders. I'm telling you, I want them to fail. I want them to trade up.
Just like whatever.
I'm
just like nothing good for the Raiders ever. Nothing.
Here's what I'm saying. If they're trading up and they screw up the pick, then they had to trade draft capital to move up. So
I see.
They're only hurting themselves.
I just want to go back to the good old days of just
you gotta see the bigger picture here, my friend.
If the Raiders could just totally disappear, I'd be okay with that. But Vikings did trade up, guys.
There's no way that this is not JJ McCarthy, right?
No, it has to be.
There's no reason to move up if not.
Exactly.
I'd be interested. I mean, it'll be very interesting if it's not him and who they take if it's not him.
Because then, ladies and gentlemen, for the Vikings. So we will find out here momentarily.
Man, I'm not going to lie. screws up. I think this screws up some stuff for the Broncos.
Yeah.
Because I was thinking that Penix Jr. would still be on the board at 12, and then there was talk of the Raiders getting Penix Jr. Now there's no guarantee that Bo Nix is on the board past 13.
Well, okay, so no one thought that he would be taken at 8. So what are the chances we take Bo Nix at 12? Because maybe that's what the Broncos' plan was all along.
Maybe.
I mean, I believe it was you, John, who said that if Sean Payton feels so comfortable with the fact that Bo Nix is his guy that he was going to take him at 12 no matter what.
Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, yeah, if we stick to 12 and Bo Nix is the guy, that is my feeling is that was Sean Payton's guy all along. And, which should give us as Broncos fans more faith as opposed to in Bo Nix anyways, as opposed to trading back and hoping that he's still available when we pick, later in the draft, 20, call it, if they trade back to the 20s, if they try and take him early in the second round or something like that to trade around to get an early second round pick. But Bo Nix,
no,
of those like second tier quarterbacks, third tier, whatever tiers you have, he seems to be the one that fits the Sean Payton system the most of these guys. So that's why I won't be surprised if we take him at 12. But they said the same thing when we took Drew Lock, and everyone was projecting him to go. What we were picking in the teens then as well. So who knows?
Yeah.
I mean,
then we traded back to pick up a second.
Pick him in the second,
and then got him in the second, and then traded back up again to get another player after him. I believe that was the Dalton Reisner, Drew Lock, Dalton Reisner year.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And is that the year we took Noah Fant in the first round and we traded back to get Noah Fant?
Yeah, which actually worked out because remember there's a lot of people who were like,
oh yeah, because we got Russell Wilson.
Why didn't the Broncos take Devin Bush, who was that linebacker that went to the Steelers? Then we traded back with the Steelers so we could pick Noah Fant. Devin Bush ended up I think he's even out of the league now.
I mean,
I
think that was a lose-lose situation. Between those two players.
True. Because the 3 players that the Broncos got out of the whole entire process, none of them are on the team.
But we did get Russell Wilson with some of those guys.
Well, that's something you're happy about? Maybe not so much. Look, guys, if I'm the Broncos, I'm looking at these other quarterback needy teams. I'm seeing Michael Penix Jr. already off the board. Yeah, you got Bo Nix and JJ McCarthy for the second until McCarthy comes off the board here. I think unless you get a really good trade offer with some really solid draft capital, I don't know if it's worth trading back. I think you go with the safe option and get your guy knowing that this is the guy we want.
Well, so here's the thing. If we do trade back, then it tells me that they don't have as much faith. That's assuming we're taking Bo Nix. I mean, maybe the Broncos don't even want Bo Nix. It seems like they do from everything they've done.
He's got to be top 3 on their draft board.
I would think, but if it.
But again, we don't know. Maybe a Spencer Rattler or the kid.
Yeah, maybe they have one of these guys as a higher rated person later in the draft, and they're just.
Let's look. What does ESPN have the quote unquote next best quarterbacks on the list as?
I mean, McCarthy, assuming the Vikings.
I mean, obviously McCarthy's going to be one, but I there's no part of me. So somebody just texted me and they're like, it's interesting that what did the Vikings here that made them move up one spot? It's possible the Broncos try to move up, maybe the Raiders, a team like the Rams that are quarterback needy.
Right.
There's a couple of different teams that maybe it's Michael Pratt's the kid from Tulane.
Okay. Right. Yeah. But you're talking after Bo Nix, it's always hard
after
to tell.
Bo Nix, Spencer Rattler, and Michael Pratt, and I could see those guys going 3rd round.
Yeah, you're talking 3rd. I mean, maybe late 2nd if a team just wants to make sure they get one of them. But
or maybe the Broncos are enamored with the howitzer arm Joe Milton.
Joe Milton? Oh, is that who's that guy? I don't know.
He's from Tennessee. The guy can throw it 80 yards, but also when he's trying to throw a 10-yard out, he throws it 80 yards.
80 yards.
Well, I mean, there's this clip of he's hanging out with the dudes in the Barstool Sports, and he's literally 10 feet away from a guy, and he just throws an absolute fastball.
Poof. Right, dude.
Like the
Right
guy
to the
can't
chest.
catch it.
All right, there it is. McCarthy it is.
McCarthy is
I think
gone,
kind of
guys.
reminds me of Kirk Cousins. Maybe that's what they were going with.
You mean Kirk Cousins, the guy they didn't re-sign?
They're like, Kirk Cousins, this looks like his offspring. Let's sign him.
It's interesting. I mean,
Well,
they didn't give up much to move up one pick. Which is
does it show what they gave up?
Yeah, they gave up I think a 4th and a 5th, and then they got a 6th back. So,
and they still have another first-round pick.
Yeah.
Well, Vikings got to be looking.
I mean, you're talking about
pretty good right now.
People saying they're going to move up from 11 to 4 and give up a lot more to get the same person. Like,
yeah,
if I'm a Vikings fan, I'm pretty happy.
They hit a home run.
The guy that you wanted in the first place.
I mean, obviously, we'll see how he works out, but you couldn't have asked for a better trade situation for the Vikings there. The way JJ McCarthy fell.
So still no defensive players, right?
Yeah.
Nope.
John. So now
we're 10 picks in.
10 offensive players already.
Which,
yep.
I don't think that's too crazy compared to all the mocks, right? We had 2 or 3 wide receivers, 4 quarterbacks. Like, it's already 7 offensive players.
And 2 tackles.
2 tackles, you know.
What are we missing there? You said
4th quarterback.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, and another wide receiver. So 3 wide receivers.
3 wide receivers, 4 quarterbacks. That's wild.
Yeah.
I'd say so. Pick is in, ladies and gents. Meaning officially the Broncos are going to be on the clock here momentarily. Here we go. This is I don't know. I'm saying pick here, guys. Everybody in the chat, let's hear from you. Do the Broncos trade back? Do you want them to trade back, or do you want them to go ahead and make a pick here? John, start with you, bud.
I'm gonna stick with my, even though is it? I don't know how to say the guy's name. Penix Jr. I want to say Penix. Penis.
Do I have to get the buzz out so that?
I do agree that him being gone, it leaves Bo Nix as the obvious next quarterback. That's best available quarterback, but I'm gonna stick with it. I want him to trade back, get somewhere in the 20s, call it early 20s now to be a little bit safer, and get more draft capital, whether that's 2/3, a second, something like that. Yeah, I want more draft picks.
What do you think, Spotty?
And I know we got an Oregon fan that follows us. I'm not a huge fan of Bo Nix. I get it. He's got good size. He can move around. He reminds me of a lot, and people can hate this. He kind of reminds me a lot of like Drew Lock's story. He's had a lot of different offensive coordinators. He transferred from Auburn to where he wasn't doing well to Oregon. Oregon runs a very specific offense every year. I mean, I don't care who the coach has been. They get a lot of these just fast dudes that can catch the ball 6-7 yards and then take it 70, right? So I think that he had the lowest percentage of throws. I think he was like 6 yards per throw or something like that, which is the lowest in college football. Well,
all we do is throw screens anyways, so that's all we need.
That's true. I guess I get that, but all at the same time, when inevitably people start crowding our our wide receivers because they can't block, unless Tim Patrick's going to be throwing all the blocks out there, then they're going to disrupt that. So we need somebody to throw downfield. I think that we just need too much, and I would hope that we can trade back. But also at the same time, with the way that the first round has gone, I'm not sure we're going to have the ability to do so.
Again, it comes down to, can we get a second round pick out of trading back? If we can, I think that makes it a yes. However, as a fan right now, I would just, let's make the pick. Let's get our guy. We've been hurting for way too long, going through another quarterback every 1-2 years, So unless it's just a really good offer, I wouldn't want us to trade back. So I'll be different in that regard.
Well, Kev, we are officially on the clock, so we will find out very shortly.
With because we've been on the clock too, so we only got 5 minutes.
We have 4 minutes left, and so far it's still the Broncos' pick.
So far,
they could be still taking calls. I feel like when you do make a trade, you pretty much go down to the wire sometimes. So,
especially if you have competing offers.
The Broncos are taking the pick.
Picks are in. Kevin was right. Okay, guys. So, hey, really quickly, while we wait for the Broncos pick to come in, we're going to end the show after this. We'll hang out. We'll talk about it a little bit and kind of break down the Broncos pick. Not so much focus on other picks coming in. But Tuesday night, 7 p.m. Mountain Time, we'll be doing a post-draft live show on Facebook and YouTube. So make sure this Tuesday night, 7 p.m. Mountain Time, you join us for our live post-draft show. We'll go through all the Broncos picks and kind of give us a grade based off of, again, arbitrarily thinking how we did and looking to see how these players are going to work out for us. It'll be interesting to see what we do with unrestricted free agents as well. I wouldn't be surprised. Man, we could even have 2 on the starting roster this year. Normally we have historically 1 every year. I wouldn't be surprised if we have 2 on the starting roster. So you guys are not going to want to miss the other Broncos content we have coming out for you guys. I don't know. We'll see. So, but I don't know, guys. Who is it? Who's the pick?
Bro, Bo Nick's family looks so basic. Yo, what?
Yeah, but I'm okay with that. If it's Bo Nix, I'm okay with it.
The fact that we're picking here, it just feels like it's probably going to be him.
Well, and it just tells me that we didn't. I don't know if we actually got a second round offer or a combination of we didn't get a good enough offer, and do we really want to risk the guy we want being gone by the second round?
Unless they went through every team that could potentially move up, they still had 4 minutes on the clock when this pick came in. So it makes me think that.
Again, I think it all hinges on the fact that the way that the first round went. I mean, there's no defensive players out. There was the talks with the Eagles, the talks with the Steelers, but both those teams need cornerbacks, right?
That's what I'm saying.
Point, they might just get that because of the way the draft has gone.
It's a good point. It's a good point, and yeah, but at the same time, I'm surprised the team didn't trade up to get the number 1 defensive player in the draft. I don't know.
I mean, the number 1 defensive player is out there. Dallas Turner still out there. Jared Verse is still out there. Some of the best.
That's what I'm saying. I would think that one of those teams in the 20s would want to move up to get the best defensive player in the draft. Right. But maybe that's pick 13 that happens. I don't know.
Yeah, but the best defensive player this year is not like
Will
Jr. last year, right? Where, I mean, even the Texans gave up to come back in to get him.
Did they?
We have a third round pick.
Yeah, third rounder. Well, let's see, guys.
Spidey, what do you think? You've been pretty spot on here.
I know. I've been off since Atlanta.
No, but overall, you've been pretty spot on for the first round.
You know what? Since I've been off, the Broncos aren't going to quarterback here. Okay. I'm a go because I was on earlier. Now I'm off. I'm gonna go with the reverse of what I would think. The Broncos are going to go with defense here.
Who is it?
They're going to go with a cornerback.
I think if they go with a cornerback,
you're not going to name one?
I think Broncos country is going to freak out.
Arnold? Okay.
Arnold. I mean,
it's got to be Bo Nix. You got to go quarterback. You got to go quarterback here.
I've got money on Bo Nix.
It will not be the end of the world if it's not Bo Nix.
It very well could be the end of the world. Okay, you don't know that.
The betting odds for a quarterback for the Broncos was so good. I took that earlier. My pocket would appreciate it being a quarterback.
By the way, Spotty, by the time I got to it, it was only plus 115. So I missed out on.
I also lied to you because I got it at plus 175. And I forgot to text you. So when I texted you, I was like, let me just
I was busy all day, so I wouldn't have got to it anyways. But yeah, it jumped a lot. So something happened. Maybe everyone was going quarterback at the last minute for the Broncos because that's a pretty big jump from 175 to 150. You got it at 175?
I got it at 175. And then
you put that in today?
Yeah, this morning, first thing in the morning.
That's a big jump from where I got it.
Down to 125 by the time I text you this afternoon.
What does Vegas find out at the last minute that other people don't?
It's Vegas, dude. I don't understand. It's all.
But it's like supposed to be the one thing that Vegas doesn't actually have. Like Vegas had Penix going 8.
Whoops.
Yep.
Spilled my beer.
Hate to see it.
How dare you?
I was so excited.
Really? You're gonna make some bad luck right before the pick is named? Okay.
I hope your dog is drinking that beer.
No, my wife-elect would kill me.
You say elect?
Yeah, wife-elect.
She was elected?
Hold on.
Here we go. And there it is. It's happened. Okay. All right.
Well, gents.
Happened.
There it is.
It happened.
There it is. It happened.
Yeah,
I mean,
there's a black guy in that room.
I was just thinking the same thing. They have one dude.
He's gotta have one.
Is both? What? You know he's older too, yeah? He's as old as Zach Wilson is.
Yeah, he's the same age as Zach Wilson, right?
And that's with Zach Wilson going on a mission trip.
Yeah, so why is Bo Nix so old? Because he played 7 years or what?
Well, did you know that he played against Justin Herbert in college?
Yep. Yep.
All right, so here we go. So
now I am gonna caution everyone: don't go and buy a Bo Nix jersey. Okay, don't do what I've done in the past. Let's wait a while. Okay. He's got some stuff to prove to me before I buy into him. Now, I'm gonna trust Sean Payton, but
look, Kev. You take a Bo Nix jersey, you got a guy that's going to be on the team for at least 3 years. So that's, a good runway there. I took Russell Wilson, and
that is a stretch that he'll be here for 3 years. You say that, we got Drew Lock, and how many years was Drew with us?
Yeah, but that was a second round. Like, he wasn't a first-round quarterback.
And how many years was the Pirate with us?
The Pirate?
Paxton Lynch.
The Pirates?
Yeah, because he had the mustache with the thing like this.
Yeah, look, Paxton Lynch, all-time bust, one of the all-time busts for the Broncos.
I think it was a 26th pick or something like that. Like in a year where Jared Goff
was he? I thought he was in the teens. I thought we got Paxton Lynch in the teens.
I thought he was in the 20s, but that was the year Jared Goff and Carson Wentz were the number 1 and number 2 quarterbacks. So. In retrospect.
Hey, before him, it was Tim Tebow. And we won a playoff game with Tim Tebow. So I'm not Bo Nix. Here we go.
Well, I'm happy with it, guys.
Playoff game.
Yeah.
No,
26 overall.
Spotty, you did that and balloons went up.
Oh, really? Oh, yes, because I forgot about that on my phone.
Hey, no, Spotty, there was we did legitimately win a playoff game.
Yes, I know the specific was on a playoff game.
A playoff game. Singular.
We did then go to
Very
play
singular.
the Patriots and then get massacred, but
worth it.
By the way, I could see the Raiders going with the top defensive player now.
At that point,
I know that's next. But
they're not going quarterback.
Let's hammer down to this because
I hope they go quarterback. That'd be amazing. That would be the ultimate Raider move if they took Spencer Rattler.
Do it.
I would just say this, right?
Yeah, closing thoughts. Let's do it.
Bo Nix was obviously Sean Payton's guy.
Yeah.
Bo Nix, I just got a Super Bowl text from one of my buddies, okay? Bo Nix was Sean Payton's guy.
Yep, hands down.
Yeah.
So I think, yes, everything that I just mentioned that I don't necessarily liked about Bo Nix, Kevin, you kind of hit it spot on, or kind of the things about our current offense. But here again, it just falls back onto what I believe an issue is, and I believe that Sean Payton's offense is a little outdated to this current NFL. But if Bo Nix is as mobile, if not more mobile than Russell Wilson. He's got an arm to throw in deep enough downfield, and he's got a quick release, right?
Yeah.
He's played a lot of college games that doesn't necessarily translate in the NFL, but maybe he adds a little extra spark. I will again kind of hold to I don't think his stats are going to be that much greater than Russell's stats are. And maybe he just holds onto the ball a little less, and then we're worried about less on sacks. And I think that's an improvement on offense.
Well, that was a huge part of the Russell Wilson problem. It wasn't that he wasn't accurate when he was throwing the ball necessarily all the time. And we have the middle of the field discussions, right? But it was that he was holding on to the ball too long. He was taking it too long to make decisions. And so if you relieve that pressure from the offensive line, who was already ranked about middle of the pack in the league this year,
that's pretty good compared to what they deal with.
Right. Well, like compared to like what the Bears have, who had the most quarterback pressures against their QB last year at like 43% pressure rate or something like that. It was ridiculous. So, I trust our offensive line a whole lot more than the Bears. Yeah, we've talked about a lot of the moves the Bears have made this year or this offseason, but if Bo Nix can go in there and make those quick decisions, I think you're going to see maybe similar numbers in terms of accuracy and everything, but a whole lot less turnovers, a whole lot less sacks, and that's going to translate, I think, to just more offensive points.
I'll be honest, it felt like Sean Payton was adjusting his offense for Russell Wilson because Russell Wilson did not seem to be able to pick up Sean Payton's offense. So I'm hoping that this guy can, they shouldn't be picking him here if they don't believe that he can. And there was a lot of times where there were guys open that may have been the second read that, Russ just locked onto the first guy, and then by the time he went to his second read, he was already gone or whatever last year. And so, I hope that he picks it up quicker, and I hope he's the guy.
You're making the argument that a pro quarterback couldn't pick up the pro offense. So you're thinking that a rookie quarterback's going to pick up better than a pro quarterback? I'm just saying, if it was that much more complicated, I don't expect a rookie to pick it up, and we're going to probably be in the exact same situation this year. And remember, Russell only had 1 year in the offense.
Yeah. So I mean, and again, I am not a football guru by any stretch of the imagination, but I gotta wonder, was it that it was just complicated, or it was the type of play that Sean had designed that Russ just couldn't keep up with? He couldn't make those reads. He couldn't, make those quick decisions or whatever the case is. And so, when you hear about Sean Payton having, an extra workout with Bo Nix and sending people up there to do really long interviews with Bo Nix, I wouldn't doubt that the big part of the conversation was, could you comprehend this? Could you execute this? And let's run you through some examples to see, how you're picking. So
I'm just saying, Jarrett looked almost the exact same when he was in the position. So I get that Stidham's.
That's fair.
I would say that I will You can make the argument that Stidham's ability as a quarterback is not much greater, but I just don't think that anything looked any different when he was in there. And he was somebody he was somebody that Sean Payton brought in specifically to the team.
Yeah, but he was playing with second round. Like, he wasn't getting first team reps in practice or anything like that. So
yeah, but he was somebody Sean specifically pointed out. You talk about being able to bring in a rookie quarterback into extra meetings. You don't think Jared got more than that?
No, I hear what you're saying, but Jared Stidham was not a first round quarterback. Like, this guy should be better than Jared Stidham, right? By the fact that he's being drafted in the first round. The fact that Jared Stidham and Russell Wilson looked very similar when they were on the field. Like, one guy's getting paid a very different salary than the other guy. Like,
that doesn't necessarily matter in the NFL. I mean, C.J. Stroud was one of the best quarterbacks in the league last year, and he's not one of the top paid quarterbacks.
Yeah. That's the thing. I mean, it depends on how it works out, right? We're going to see fairly soon when they get on the field. You know, does it look like last year? Is it messy? Is it sloppy? Are things being missed?
Have so many months to debate this and talk about this.
I know. I'm just saying that's what's on the horizon, guys.
We're not going to get any answers. There's a possibility we don't get answers until like week 5.
Yeah. No, agreed. And even then, you're going to have to continue to evaluate how he's progressing throughout the rest of the season, right? I don't have expectations above winning 6 games this year.
Look,
you know,
year 1 as a rookie, you get a pass, right?
Yeah,
as a first round rookie, you get a pass.
Yeah.
Second year is when you actually know. My question: does he start the year as our starter?
That's a question. I don't know.
Here's one thing I'll say, John. As a 12th pick overall rookie, you get a pass your first year.
I think even the first overall pick, Caleb Williams isn't going to get passed.
Dude, do you remember all the conversations that everybody talked about Bryce Young last year? They were calling him a bust already.
Yeah, they're going to call him a bust, but he's still going to be the starter week 1 this year.
Yeah, but I'm not. But I'm saying that's someone who's not getting a pass. You don't give up somebody a pass by calling.
I mean, there's always going to be chirping.
For sure.
People got to talk, David.
Look, I'll go back to what I said on Tuesday. I still think Bo Nix is better than any quarterback who's in next year's draft.
Yeah.
Like, everybody can say whatever they want about Shedeur, or honestly, I'm not even sure who's going to be the number 1 overall quarterback next year. Yeah. I still think that Bo Nix may be better, if not, on par with whoever is going to be the top quarterback next year. So, to your conversation, is he going to get a pass the first year? 100%. I guarantee. I still don't think, because of the way that Sean does things, I bet you he doesn't start week 1.
Yeah, but the alternative is Zach Wilson and Jared Stidham.
Yeah, but
it's not like you have a.
You're making the assumption that Bo Nix is going to pick up the offense in the offseason and have the ability to be a better quarterback on the field than Jared Stidham or Zach Wilson. And I would just say Jared Stidham, because I still don't think that Zach Wilson will have the oomph to start for us.
Well, the and Stidham also has experience in the offense, right?
Right.
So he has a whole year advantage on Zach Wilson.
I'm just saying, if Bo starts the year off in the 3rd spot, you can't freak out.
Here's the thing. I bet week 1, Jared Stidham or Zach Wilson is not on the team. One of those 2 guys is not on the team.
Do you think
I can see that too?
I mean, I guess we gave it, a 6th-round pick for Zach Wilson?
No, not even.
What do you mean not even? We're paying half his salary is $2.5 million plus.
No, we gave up a 6th, but we got a 7th back, so we moved down.
We're still paying $2.5 million for him.
True. Yeah. So you take a $2 million hit for 1 year.
Well, but Jared Stidham is a whole lot more expensive.
Yeah, so I think I would be okay with getting.
I don't know who's not making it, but I don't think you have those 3 guys on your roster week 1, because I think you have Bo Nix as your backup if he's not the starter.
Yeah. For me, it's not a question of who we should start the better quarterback. To me, so what, right? To me, it's more of a conversation of when will Bo Nix be ready to be put out there?
Sure.
And when can we start getting him that experience? If Sean Payton says, he's maybe not necessarily ready, he's maybe not necessarily our strongest quarterback right now with Zach Wilson there and maybe even Sidhams, I don't know. But we want to get him that experience sooner rather than later. That's the reason to throw him out there. If they say, hey, we want to give him some time to comprehend, get up to speed, to see how things function, then maybe you wait half the season. You wait 5, 6, 7 weeks before you throw out Bo Nix, but to me, it's not a matter of we want to put our best quarterback out there to start the season. Okay. I don't care about that because again, this season is a practice year.
How can you say that with what the Texans did last year?
Because it's not going to happen again. That's not going to happen again, guys. For anybody out there who's like, well, the Texans did it last year. That was CJ Stroud. Okay. That is a very, very, very rare situation.
No, he is CJ Stroud. He's CJ Stroud.
Also, let's remember about the difficulty of the Broncos schedule this coming year. So I find it is a mistake by a lot of GMs, and maybe we say mistake, maybe we say learning moment, that these young quarterbacks are thrown into the fire, right? And they're not prepared to play against the competition that they go, and then they end up wilting, right? Maybe they pick up an injury, maybe they end up that mental state that we kind of talked about is altered when they realize the speed of the game is a lot different. So I think that's something to also take in as a factor. And then also at the same time, we're talking about CJ Stroud. One thing that they have not done for Bo Nix, and of course we don't know yet without the rest of this draft, that they have not put weapons around him.
Right.
Guy doesn't have a tight end. His number one wide receiver may hold out for a little longer. Who knows? And then his next best wide receiver is Marvin Mims.
Tim Patrick.
I mean, I love Tim Patrick, but I'm just saying, as a weapon on the field, Marvin Mims is a greater weapon than Tim Patrick.
Yeah, I mean they're different. I mean it's totally different skill set, right?
Yeah. But I'm saying weapon, John. If you're like, I need to get the ball in this person's hand to change this game, I'm saying I want to give it to Marvin Mims before 10.
Okay. Yeah. I won't argue that. Yeah.
Well,
you're right.
We'll definitely talk about this more on Tuesday after we've had some time to digest it and see how the rest of the draft goes for the Broncos. No round 2 pick as a matter of not trading back from the number 12.
Don't even have to watch tomorrow.
Don't even have to watch tomorrow night. Just wait till round 3.
No, second and third tomorrow, Spotty.
That's right. So you can miss the first half tomorrow night, and then you can watch round
tomorrow.
3.
The Avs are just catch it.
Avs are on tomorrow. That's the bigger thing going on tomorrow night. For sure.
Borderline, but I'll take the draft over the Avs.
Okay.
When the Broncos are picking.
I'll give you a pass.
When the Broncos are picking.
That's why I got a telephone, bro. I'll just put it on my phone. I'll be watching the Avs on the telly.
There you go.
Everybody wins.
Any chance we get into the second round tomorrow?
There's a chance.
There.
I would say no, but there's always a chance.
Do we only have 1 third-round pick? How many total picks? We have 6 picks. Do we give up some? Do we give up some picks?
No, I think we have 8 total because we have like 5 fifth-round picks. 2, 6.
Let's see.
I just don't know how. I don't know how you equate picks for higher picks. I would even say that the Broncos might be able to count on, and this is like high level stuff. The Broncos might be able to count on some compensatory picks for next year, third round. So they may bank on that to trade into this year, because how much did which we had this? Oh, actually, the one thing that we didn't talk about. What is a rookie quarterback's best? Who is a rookie quarterback's best friend?
Are you gonna start talking about Garrett Bowles?
Garrett Bowles is a
blindside tackle.
Who is truly a rookie quarterback's best friend?
I'm assuming
QB coach. QB coach. I don't know.
You could talk to Peyton Manning about this, because he had almost the exact same guy his whole entire career.
Oh, the center. Yeah.
We don't have one.
No, they seem to be very high on
Forsythe.
What?
On who?
Our backup. Now our starter.
Who's our backup, John? Forsythe?
No, Wattenberg. He was like a 5th round pick last year, the year before. Anyways, not a guy that you would expect to be our starter, but they were hyping him up whenever we had talked about Cushenberry potentially being not on the team this year. So
yeah,
they seem to be high on the guy.
Maybe they trade up. Maybe they draft one this year.
Spuddy, we started this. We have a lot of holes.
It's not all going to be fixed this year. There's going to be a whole lot more going next year.
An A-gap hole is a huge issue for a rookie quarterback.
It is.
I'm just saying they were talking the guy up. We haven't seen him as fans, so maybe he's our guy.
We'll see. Hey guys, again, thank you for tuning in. It was real fun that we got to do this for the first time in the last couple of years since the Broncos didn't have a first-round pick. So appreciate everybody tuning in. Remember, Tuesday night, 7 p.m. Mountain Time, we'll be doing our live show for the post-draft analysis. Give you all the information that we have anyway in terms of who the Broncos picked and our thoughts on it. And more importantly, we want to hear what you all have to say about the Broncos draft this year. So, John, Spotty, anything else to close out the show?
Still no defensive player. Just want to point that out.
Still none.
Hey, John, I said 25, right? We're pretty close. We're 14
pretty quickly.
14 picks right now, no defensive player. So I think we're obviously going to beat the record. But my last thing to say is as much as crap as I would talk, you know, if Bo Nix is truly Peyton's guy, right? Since we're paying Peyton a whole lot of money to be our head coach, we'll have to have faith in that. I hope that he ends our roster of quarterbacks.
Yeah,
I think that's the last thing. I've been wrong about a lot of things in the past. If you ask any of my Nuggets fan friends, I was wrong about the Aaron Gordon trade for the Nuggets. So I hope I'm wrong about this.
I love it. There are times where it's okay to be wrong. There's nothing wrong with that, man.
Hey, if we're winning, I'm way okay with being wrong.
Right.
Might be a while before that happens, but we'll get there. Broncos country.
So
I figured you did. Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. So, well, hey everybody, again, thanks for tuning in. Spotty with the thumbs up, guys. First round for the Broncos is over. No, we can't because guys, stick with us. We got a very special surprise.
Oh,
Jared is here.
Is that a cruise ship?
Jared is here.
You've been on a cruise ship this whole time?
This is what screwing your country looks like. Okay.
Oh my god! Like, wow. That's
Jared, perfect timing, man.
Everybody.
I was literally about 5 seconds away from hitting the exit video.
Perfect.
So perfect timing, man. Let's get your thoughts on this. What did you see tonight, and what do you think about Bo Nix, man?
I'll be honest with everything. I have been so removed from everything. I have no clue. I didn't even know that we traded for Zach Wilson until a couple days. Like, there's been so much stuff going on that I'm so away from. It's been crazy. But hey, we got our quarterback of the future, right? We got a draft. I don't know. I was, again, you guys know when you go on deployment, your time just stops for everybody. And so when I left, J.J. McCarthy was higher ranked than Bo Nix. And I don't know what happened.
We don't either, actually. We don't.
Michael Penix over J.J. McCarthy. Okay.
We're not even that smart.
What's that?
I was like, did you leave yesterday? Because I'm pretty sure everyone had McCarthy up there.
Oh, okay, good.
You're good.
Good. Okay.
You didn't miss much.
Yeah. I was super confused. Anyways, yeah, I mean, Bo Nix, yeah, we'll see what happens. Oregon quarterbacks usually do okay, which I do enjoy. I like that we're getting an Oregon quarterback, but other than that, it'll be interesting to see. You're not a fan, huh, Spotty?
What Oregon quarterback are you thinking that's done okay?
Mariota crushed it.
Mariota did well.
Joey Harrington too. Yikes! It's not a good. It's Oregon.
That's a household name. Harrington. I talk about him all the time.
What about Herbert?
Jury's out.
What's that?
Jury's out.
Jury's out.
Jury's out. You
Yeah,
can't
no,
blame Herbert for the way the
I'll take
Chargers
Herbert.
charger.
Oh yeah, that's true. You can't do that. So we hope he's more like Herbert than Joey Harrington and Marcus Mariota.
Yes.
Yeah.
Bold statement.
Do you know he beat Herbert in college because they played each other?
That's college. So
I mean, yeah.
Wait, but that's a good thing, right? Why are we upset about that?
it adds competition.
How old he is.
You know,
Dude, he played freaking Herbert in college.
are you saying I'm old? You saying we're all old?
I'm pretty sure you're old, Cap Dan.
I'm old.
Buddy, age is a construct.
That's not what you told me when I was at your house and you called me old.
Got him.
Yeah, it is. I construct you to be 80.
I don't think that's how that works. So, Jared, man, like, what do you think overall for the Broncos? Like, in terms of what other needs do you want us to address?
Trying to figure out where he is on a daily basis, I think.
Fair.
Here's what I'll say. We need to go into this year.
Easy one.
We need to go into this year. It's a rebuilding year. We traded a bunch of people. We have a brand new quarterback. Like, we can't go into this year being like, this is the year. Like, it's just not happening. So as long as we have that mindset of like any win's a good win, and then the losses are kind of like, all right, well, let's learn from them and move on. But I don't think this is not the year for us to be like, this is it. We're doing it all.
No, it is not.
Not happen.
No.
Are you surprised we kept the 12th pick, Jared?
I am, and only because I was watching your guys' chats before I came on here to see where I'm at. You guys wanted to trade back for him, huh?
I think
yeah.
I think there's potential we could have, but also no one thought that Penix was going to be taken that early either. So, as always, it seems like the NFL world, as fans and commentators, did not have a good read on quarterbacks after the first 3.
Right.
So.
Right. Yeah. I mean, a lot of what was it? Atlanta picked up Michael Penix. Yeah. Crazy.
They just paid Kirk Cousins a whole lot of money. I think that surprised everyone.
Yeah. Jared, are you on board with me if we call him Penix? Or
I'm down with Penix.
You are down.
I might need to get the beeper out to
You're down with the
Penix.
I'm down with the Penix.
Something Jared says often, I'm sure. But
do you think he's going to have
a long deployment for Jared?
Do you think he's going to do? His number's going to be 15. Wouldn't that make him Penix 15? You know, join the Pen 15.
Oh yeah.
You can't pass that opportunity up.
Total missed opportunity if they don't take it. I really.
You have to.
Damn.
Just saying. Well, guys, I think we've talked about just about a ton, and Jared,
right.
Louder. Jared, definitely glad you hopped on, man. It was really good to see you, and hope everything's going well, man. We definitely
miss you guys.
So,
how much longer?
Everyone
Jared?
else out? Yeah.
How much
longer?
That? How much longer?
A few more months.
I like how you looked at your wrist that doesn't have a watch. Just answer a few more months. Let me see here. Yeah.
He gets a tattoo for every day.
What's my
real prison lifestyle?
So wait, does that mean you're back before regular season, Jared?
I will. Right now, I'm scheduled to be back before regular season. Yes.
We'll see. Yeah.
Yeah, but that could change really quickly.
Well, we know how that goes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So.
Well, it'll be great to have you back, man, for sure. So.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to be back. I miss you guys. Hope you guys are having a good off season. And
slow, but yeah.
Yeah, I'll definitely hit you guys back when I get back though.
Love it, man. Well, hey guys, again, Tuesday night, 7 p.m. Mountain Time. We'll do our recap of the Broncos draft and sign some draft grades. Talk about the players, what the Broncos are going to do, and what holes the Broncos still have to fill for moving forward. And so, whether that's going to be a next year issue or whatever else they can do, we'll break that all down. So, John, Spotty, thank you much for sitting here for the whole 2 hours. It's been great. Jared, just super glad to see you, man.
Likewise.
Awesome. Well, with that being said, guys, I really don't think there's anything else to say other than end this, as we always do, on a very strong Go Broncos.
Go Broncos.
Take care, guys.
Do what I like, yeah, I do what I like, yeah, I do what I like. Sipping goose, if it's right, and I go with the flow, yeah, I go with the flow, yeah, I go with the flow, cause I know I'm the show. In the zone, here I go, in the zone, here I go, in the zone, here I go, yeah, they know I'm a pro.